all I wanted to do throughout my childhood was just tons and tons of instant gratification activities. And my parents knew that this was bad for me. And so they forced me to do certain things. They actually forced me to do CrossFit, believe it or not. They forced me to do well in school, and they limited how much time I spent playing video games, and the whole 9 yards. But around when I was 14, they kind of gave up. They realized that I was becoming an adult, and they couldn't keep making decisions for me. And it was putting strain on our relationship, because I was fighting back against that. And so I just took a nosedive hard. And this was around the time of COVID, too. So I slipped into a deep self-destructive depression. I would wake up in the morning, and literally the first thing I would do was jerk off. Then I'd hop onto online school, like half paying attention, half scrolling through my phone, scrolling through TikTok. I spent hours a day on that. Scrolling through Instagram, watching YouTube videos, whatever. I would eat like a pig. I didn't watch that at all. I didn't exercise, and I just sat in this deep depressive state. And I kind of stayed there, even after the lockdown was lifted. I had no idea how to talk to women, and there was this one girl I was absolutely obsessed with. A bit before online school started, a bit before the whole COVID epidemic, we would talk before school started. But I remember one day I came in, and I guess I was looking a little bit down, whatever, and she was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." She was like, "Okay, well, I care about you, so if you ever want to talk or whatever, I'm here." And from that moment on, that slight sign of, hey, I care about you a little bit, just even like platonically, was enough for me to become obsessed with this one girl, like literally obsessed. Over COVID, we had a Snapchat streak, and what I would do, God, this hurts to say, what I would do is she would send me a snap of her face, and I would swipe up on my phone, so all the apps were showing that were open, and I would screenshot it, so that, and the way it worked on my old phone is I could screenshot it then, and it wouldn't notify Snapchat, so I could just get this screenshot of what was going on in the given app. And so then I went back into my Photos app, and I cropped it, and so it was just her face. And I did this for so fucking long, and I had a folder of her name with a heart on my phone, and I barely ever made a move. I think maybe I called her pretty once over Snapchat. I didn't talk to her in person, and I even I would look at SnapMap, and I back then, I don't know if it's still the case now, you can't see exact addresses, so I just found where she was. And then I did some forensic research. I cross-referenced it with Google Maps, and I found her exact address. Then I found it on Google Street View, and I took screenshots of her house and of the location, and I put those in the folder. I had this whole database of her, and it wasn't like I was going to do anything with it. I couldn't drive back then, so I wasn't going to just show up to her house, and even if I could, I wouldn't. I just it was the most creepy, insane shit ever. I remember there was this other girl that I had a crush on, and what made me have a crush on her was she complimented my ability to play sharks and minnows. So, yeah. But anyway, and I was so starved for compliments of that meant the world to me. I still remember that day. But I loved talking to her. Every time I got a notification on my phone, I would light up a little bit. And I remember this one time she kind of soft rejected me. And so I just went into this fucking incel rage. Like, I didn't really send much to her, but I was just fuming. I remember I was so obsessed with this one girl that I got a picture of her from her Instagram. And I went to a build your own deepfake website, and I tried to do that. Thankfully, you had to have like a premium membership or some shit to actually make your own. But that really expresses how low I was at this point in my life. I also just absolutely hated women. Fucking despised them. I have a TikTok to show that it was pretty funny. It went like viral. It got like 6 million views or something that I made, but kind of showed my incel rage.
You know, I have 3 sisters, and each one of them is a different reason why I don't respect women. So
it's obviously a joke, but, you know, there was definitely some sincerity behind it. I think the first ray of sunshine that peeked into my life was going to a BMI calculator thing and realizing I was on the brink of obesity. And that just terrified the shit out of me. And so over the summer between sophomore and junior year, I didn't eat as much, and I did some calisthenics, and I watched my weight, and I lost 5 pounds. Which, 5 pounds over the course of 2 months isn't ridiculously impressive, but keep in mind, this was from, just the most degenerate, creepy, unmotivated coomer you could ever think of. Losing 5 pounds was incredible for me. I had heard about cold approaching, and I knew that I should go talk to women, but I was too fucking afraid to do that. And so what I did was I went onto Omegle, and I just fished for women. I had different tags, and I knew different ones that had more girls on it, like the difference between 5% women and 10% women type shit. And and that was how I learned how to talk to women, man. Because I was too terrified to walk up to them in public. That's how I learned. And I actually got a online girlfriend from that. Believe it or not. The relationship lasted about 2 months. I was in love with her. I mean, it was the first girl to show serious interest in me, and I was just head over heels, and when she broke up with me, I was just devastated. But at this point, I had the ability to talk to women, or at least minorly. I wasn't absolutely inept, and I had an online girlfriend, and she broke up with me, so I had an ex. And I was making progress. I remember this one time I walked into the bathroom, and I sort of moved my arm kind of weirdly for whatever reason, and there was a bit of tricep definition. And I was just like, holy shit, that's muscle. No way, that's what I was just amazed. I was too scared and too insecure to go to a gym. So I got a bunch of home workout stuff that Christmas, like a pull-up bar and some weights and the whole thing, and I started actually working out. At first it was just 10 or 20 minutes a day, and then it grew to an hour a day. Yeah. And I started to see a lot of improvement in my physique. I also, around this time, I was still using TikTok, but Hamza clips were coming up. Little Jeffrey does this and sucks ass, and Adonis is epic. And I would always get a little bit offended by it, by the Jeffrey section. I was like, well, maybe Jeffrey just is, I was very personally called out. Because keep in mind, I still wasn't out of my funk fully. I was still pretty degenerate-y. But yeah. Eventually, and in the wake of my girlfriend breaking up with me, I finally was like, okay. So I went on to Hamza's YouTube channel, and I started watching, and I became a fan almost instantly, because I had so much energy and so much fear that could be spent towards self-improvement. I needed some guidance, and I'm very glad that I found that. And now, at this point in my life, I have 2 exes. I have like a tiny bit of game. I can like talk to women. There was a girl that, we're kind of friends, kind of not. But my opening line with her was, I just walked up to her and I was like, "Hey, are you having any computer troubles?" Because she was like on her computer and it was like the first day of school and we were figuring out how to do that. She was like, "No." I was like, "Okay." But you know what? I had the confidence to walk up to her and talk to her, and I kept doing that. And, eventually she started to like me back a little bit. So, yeah. I just recently, maybe a week ago, got a gym membership. So I'm actually, going to the gym now. I have passions. I have, this video I'm working on. I would have never done something like this back in the past. I was just too depressed, generally. And I have way more confidence, plus a bit of muscle.